The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon is renewed for fourth, and the key here is final season, right? So this is pretty big news. Norman Reedus said, Daryl Dixon has been an incredible journey. I thank each and every fan who has joined us on this ride. It's been a privilege to build this story for these characters, and we have so much gratitude for how it's been embraced. Your love and support have made every moment worth it. This finale isn't just an ending, it's a celebration of what we've all shared together. Keep carrying that love forward. Daryl's journey is far from over. So that is an interesting little comment there at the end of it. Melissa McBride says, it's been a thrill of a lifetime to shoot this part of Daryl and Carol's adventure in Europe, and I keep going back for more of these two characters. There's still so much story left to tell and so much for the fans to look forward to. I'm going to revel in the moments as they come, and I'm excited for the fans to see what we've been working on in these incredible locations. Season 3 of Daryl Dixon premieres on September 7th. I just did a video recently on the channel discussing what we can expect for Season 3, including, obviously, another premiere date, and then, you know, what we can see in terms of, like, the plot and the characters, the new cast, and everything like that. So let's go into, you know, the comments here. So Norman Reedus says, Daryl's journey is far from over. Okay. Melissa McBride then says that she says there's still so much story left to tell and so much for the fans to look forward to. So I'm not sure if this is, you know, I guess her comments could more be about, you know, season 3 and 4, right? So there's 2 more seasons of the show. There's so much story left to tell in those 2 seasons, and the fans have a lot to look forward to, you know, in those 2 seasons, right? And then, of course, Norman Reedus' comments, Daryl's journey is far from over. Does that mean he's talking about season 3 and 4 again, right? Like Melissa McBride? Is that what they're talking about? Or are they really talking about, no, his journey is far from over at the end of the 4th season of the spin-off series? So that's an interesting thing to look at. Again, I'm not sure. You know, obviously, I think that they wouldn't mind if it obviously hinted at something more than just the next 2 seasons, because obviously all of us fans, right when we hear the news that it's ending, what's next, right? I think that's kind of our next thought is, okay, what's next here? Is this it for Daryl Dixon? Is this the last we're ever going to see of this character, or at least Norman Reedus playing that character? Of course, because who knows? You know, we might get a Walking Dead reboot in 10 years, like every other show has had now. So, anyways, interesting quotes. But to me, this really does signal the end of an era for The Walking Dead. I guess this kind of after, like, secondary era after the original show has ended, because personally, I'm not sure I see another season for Dead City. I think, especially the way that they ended Fear, the way that they ended, you know, the original series, they all tried to kind of, you know, keep them around the same time, right? I think that was the same year for Fear in the original series there that ended, or it may have just been, you know, maybe not the same calendar year, but within a few months of each other, right? So I can see them doing the same thing here. I don't think Dead City is going to get another year and then surpass Daryl Dixon somehow and, like, still have it running while Daryl Dixon is already over. So to me, next year, 2026, is going to be the end of these spin-offs. With Dead City Season 3 that will premiere and probably come to an end. Of course, I guess they haven't really, you know, announced that Season 3 is going to be the last season. So I don't know. Maybe I might be wrong, but it really doesn't feel like we're going to get another season of Dead City after this. Daryl Dixon now is confirmed that the 4th season will be the last, and that'll be coming next year. So 2026, by the end of that year, we're most likely going to be at the end of these spin-offs, because the ones who live, you know, by all accounts, I mean, there was like a slim chance that they said at the end of it that they're going to come back, but I don't think they're coming back, right? So the ones who live is done. These 2 are done. What's next? Like, what's next for the Walking Dead universe? And I did a video talking about this recently on the channel about kind of the uncertain future of the universe. Like, what is next here after these spin-offs? And I kind of voiced my concern of saying, like, okay, maybe it's time to kind of wrap things up here, right? And so to me, I actually think this is kind of good news, right? Like, yeah, I'm probably going to be there for Daryl Dixon Season 3. I have my problems with Season 2 of Dead City. Obviously, I had problems with Daryl Dixon season 2, but like, yeah, I'll probably be there. At least I'm going to check out the premiere of season 3 of Daryl Dixon. But I think it's kind of good news, to be honest, because this to me is getting a little old, right? The spin-offs that they're doing right now, the approach that they're taking to the universe. And with this news, it's like, okay, there's an end in sight. You know, the kind of the plans you can see are kind of forming here. It's not just, okay, we're just going to keep pumping out seasons of these spin-offs forever, right? To this point, it kind of felt a little like that. But now they have an end in sight. They have almost essentially like a date, basically, where this is going to end. And then we can kind of go forward and do something else, right? And does that something else look like a reunion series? I've talked about that in that video that I did on the future of the universe. I've seen a lot of other people, want this and talk about this as well. Maybe like a limited series type of thing, 6 to 10 episodes or something, where we get Rick, Daryl, Carol, Maggie, Michonne, everybody, comes back and actually reunites for once, and maybe they take down, the biggest bad of them all, and this is kind of the great finale to finish off the universe. Or, on the other hand, like I talked in that video as well, is it time for, these spinoffs are going to end, or maybe even you have the reunion series, but then after that, maybe it's time to tell some new stories, some original stories within the same universe, perhaps, and give us that, right? I talked about something like Tales, right? Bringing back Tales for another season and doing some stories about characters, backstories, where they are now. I think that's just a really great concept, and something that is not that expensive to do. Not that, hard to do, I wouldn't think, right? If you just get an actor to come back for a single episode and yet still keep us fans satisfied and keep us kind of up to date with the universe and where these characters are now after the show, or even fill in some gaps of the show that we didn't see, right? So I think that's a really good idea. And then, yeah, I think we need some original stories with some new characters from this universe if you're going to, go that route with it. Now, of course, right? Like, it's hard to get that to catch on, right? It just is. And so, I don't know. It's like I said in that video, it really is an uncertain future to me. But at least now, I think this does add some certainty to where we're going now. It kind of has an end game. It has an end in sight now. 2026, most likely the last year for these spinoffs. And this, extension of the universe, if you will. And then it's time, right? The rubber's going to hit the road. Then it's time to figure out, to pivot, where are you going to go? What are you going to do next with these characters? Are you going to start another spinoff and then, do that? Or, again, do you have a reunion series, or do you have a new original concept like that? I've heard many people talk about the Telltale games, bring in a character like Clementine and do a series about that. I don't think they have the rights to those games, or at least those characters, to use them. And that's AMC, obviously, I'm talking about. So I'm not sure exactly how that would work. I think they could, easily get those rights, though. Well, I shouldn't say easily, but I think they could get those rights if they wanted to do that. And I think that's actually a really promising idea, and something that they could still, again, stick to existing IP, with the universe and with the world and with characters that already exist, but still it would feel fresh to us viewers, especially those who haven't played all the way through those games, which is me. Like, I have not, but I've heard some great things. I've seen some, clips and heard about the story beats and that, and it sounds really intriguing. So that's something I would be really excited to see. So anyways, lots of potential opportunities. So love to hear your guys' thoughts on, what you think, could be the next step, or what should be the next step for the universe.